Okay, today we'll be relearning the basics of creating a integer or a float and basically how they work when it's created inside a function or outside a function. To start, we can create an integer called tuna, something stupid, and we give it a value 34, 34, right? And this time we can create a function which we already have. It's called main. And when we try to print out this integer called tuna, something interesting will happen. Uh, Actually, it will just print out. But say when we create another function called let's name it salmon, right? Salmon. How do you spell salmon? Salmon. Okay. Now, what if we try to spell out tuna in this function? Will it make a difference? The answer is no, because if you have made a integer outside any function, this integer called tuna can be used in any function. But see, we copy and paste this integer, not here, into the function called main. And this time, we will try to print it out in another function. If we just do that, nothing will come up. Let's run it again. Yeah, it comes up with error. But what if we move this into the same function that the integer is in? It prints 34. And this is because an integer created inside a function, so tuna is created inside function main. Thus, tuna can be only used or brought up inside this function for it to work. Now, let's just experiment with fun things and let's say we can create another integer called int tuna outside this function, and let's give it a different value. Now, what will happen now? We will run this program. Is it's printing 34 instead of 60. Well, you may say if we have 60 in the first case and then we have 34, why is it printing 34? And this is a really interesting way how computer works. It chooses the closest value, the most up-to-date value as its value that shows. Since tuna was 60, but it was changed to 34 inside this function, thus when we print it out on the screen, it would be 34. But say you are different, you want to print 60 when it's outside the function, but you don't want to change anything about this program, you can do something to that. What you do is add a double colon before tuna. And what this does, it doesn't print, it doesn't take the value of tuna inside this function. Instead, it chooses the value of tuna that's outside the function. Now, what will happen now when we run this program is tuna will print 60 instead of 34. Okay, now the last thing to keep in mind is to know what a global variable is. And we already have one here. When you create an integer, a variable outside any function, this function can be used, this integer or variable can be used or brought up in any function below it. Since tuna is outside any function, if we create another function, this can be ran in it again and again, no matter what function it is. And thus, this will be called a global variable. And the local variable will be a integer or any sort of variable that's inside a function that can't be used globally. Since we have tuner, since tuner is created in integer in function main, if we make another function, the same tuner will not work. And that's all I have today. Basic stuff about global variable, local variable, and how you can instead of using the value of local variable, you can use a global variable by adding a double colon instead of your name. And that's all we have for today. Basic stuff. We'll see you soon.